Tonight it's game 2 of a 4-game West Coast road trip, one that could go a long way toward determining the Penguins and their playoff position. But it won't be an easy one. The Anaheim Ducks have won 4 consecutive games and have the best record in the entire National Hockey League. What's it going to take to get a win? We're about to find out right now. It's the Penguins and the Ducks from Orange County, California on Root Sports.
Chris Kunitz played 4 years with the Ducks, won a cup in 07. He plays his 400th game in a Penguin uniform tonight against his former team. And Ben Lovejoy playing his first game against his former team in his 100th game in a Penguin uniform here tonight against the Ducks. And it is the Penguins and the Ducks from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, as the Penguins continue their 4-game road trip in California. Hi, everybody. Along with Bob Aria and Paul Steigerwald, we got a couple of deadly combinations on the ice in this game here tonight.
Yeah, and they're all in the top 10 in scoring in the National Hockey League. Let's start with the captain of the Penguins, Sidney Crosby. Never missed a game against the Ducks in his career. He didn't have a shot in the last game against Colorado, and his buddy Nate McKinnon, he wants to get it going. And this man has it going. Points in 6 straight. Boy, has he been dominant. Using that Pouliot stick on the backhand. Malkin scored from all over the ice. And in Colorado, he really tried to take over that game. Putting the Penguins on the board. He was denied later in the game by Varlamov. But to tell you, Kenny Malkin absolutely flying. He started an 11-game point streak to start the season this year against the Ducks.
Well, the Penguins have some new faces on their defense core, and they're going to have to be sharp tonight around that goal cage with Getzlaf and Perry on the ice.
Well, they are, because when you look at a guy like Ryan Getzlaf, you're looking at one of those big, powerful centermen. You talk about a heavy team. He's the leader here, and he's got bread and butter, right? When you're talking about Getzlaf and Perry, they've been attached at that hip since they were both drafted in the first round, 2003. And a guy like Perry, hat trick in the opener against the Penguins in a Penguins 6-4 victory. But he's got 5 goals in his last 2 games. He does Corey Perry. These guys don't seem to slow down. They play 21 minutes a game.
Well, it has been an emotional week for Simon Despres.
Yeah, definitely surprised. It was very emotional a bit. Wasn't expecting it, but yeah. Still very soon right now, so I'm just focusing one game at a time, one day at a time.
Wow, you could really feel it from Simon Despres there, Staggy, and it's been so soon. Within a week, he's been traded, but he got to get in 2 hockey games. He's a +3 with 1 assist. Played 21 minutes his last game. They're happy. The Penguins happy with Lovejoy. Let's get it going.
And obviously, Ben Lovejoy happy to be a Penguin again. And, well, let's just say that it's got to be difficult for both of those guys to go against their former teammates so soon. Lovejoy looking to get it out of the way, and he'll talk to Danny Potash in just a moment.
Well, our journey to the West Coast has landed us in sunny Southern California, but tonight we leave the beach behind in favor of the pond as the Penguins take on the Ducks here on Root Sports. And Ben, how strange is this for you? Just a few days ago, this was home. Now you're back in Pittsburgh, but now you're facing your former team again. Can you get your head straight or what?
I'm trying not to think about it, but it is very difficult. I've worn black with those guys for a long time. I'm excited to be a Pen, but tonight will be emotional.
You're a defenseman. You know that offense pretty well. How do you take away their time and space tonight?
I think really what they want to do is grind. We need to find ways to eliminate that. We need to stay in their zone. We need to be smart with the puck.
Ben, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Staggy, take it away.
Thank you, Dan. Well, it was game 1 when these teams last met. The Penguins overcame a hat trick by Corey Perry. They got a couple of goals from Sidney Crosby, a shorthanded goal from Brandon Sutter, and now they meet again in game 64.
Penguins Hockey on Root Sports is brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. You're better with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Rated #1 for plan satisfaction. By Western PA Toyota Dealers. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
So it should be an exciting game for these fans. The Penguins defeating the Ducks 6-4 in that opening game, and maybe another high-scoring game here tonight. Bob, let's take a look at our Rivers Casino tips to win.
Well, the Penguins looking to score first. The Ducks have accomplished that 6 straight times in the meeting of these two teams. Need a little more passion than they had in Colorado, especially off the get-go here. And Ben Lovejoy, yeah, 2 emotional players after that big trade.
And our Kia starting goaltender is Thomas Greiss.
Thomas Greiss, 4-1-2 in his last 7 starts going against Frederik Andersen, our Hyundai starting goaltender. 30 wins already on the season as Mike Johnson looks on.
And for Bruce Boudreau, a lot of pressure. His team has the best record in the NHL with 91 points. He won the President's Trophy, you may remember, with the Washington Capitals back in 2010. And they might very well do that here in Anaheim, and people expecting big things in the postseason. And we know all about expectations. We saw that last year with the Penguins. Here are the Ducks now as they get started up ice into the Penguin zone. It is dumped in by Sekac, the former Montreal Canadian acquired at the deadline. Now a quick shot back to the net, and Greiss made the save. The rebound gobbled up by Lovejoy. And Lovejoy trying to control it now, pressured by Sekac. And the Penguins break it up though in the slot, and it's going to be cleared by Daniel Winnick to the Anaheim line.
Andersen was injured with an upper body injury. Lovejoy saying he's one of the great puck handling goaltenders in the league. We've already saw that. And Thomas Greiss, who hasn't played since St. Louis, getting the opportunity right now.
Paul Martin brings the puck to center ice, and it'll be whipped in by David Perron right to the side of the goal. Frederik Andersen playing his first game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Cleared it, but it's held in by Paul Martin, who sends it in behind the goal. Sidney Crosby takes it there for the Pens. Crosby on his backhand. Leaves it there for Letang. And Letang wheels it right through the goal mouth. Crosby gets it again. Back to Paul Martin. Martin to Sidney Crosby. Crosby across to Letang. Penguins getting off to a good start here with their top line. Paul Martin dumps into the corner. Crosby in after it again. Back to Martin. Coming to the goal. He tried to sneak one in on the short side. Andersen made the save. Crosby gets the rebound. Racing over now is Hornquist. Martin got there first. Perron dumps it in behind the goal for Crosby. He is stood up by Simon Desprez.
Yeah, man knocked down. The referees letting Desprez get a little bit of a grapple, and Crosby going back at Desprez right away.
Gave him a little cross check in the lower back. Now the puck is dumped in off the corner boards, and Rob Scuderi takes control of it there for the Penguins.
And we got maybe some penalties here right away.
Yeah, we got Getzlaf into it. Yeah, and he's talking to David Perron.
And there's the hit, Simon Desprez, an extra little shot. Crosby went back with a little tap to the lower back of Desprez. So already Simon Desprez getting involved in this hockey game against the Penguins top line that had a real good shift in that zone. And there's that short side off the post high to the left side of Andersen. And we got matching minors right now. Play a little 4-on-4.
And Kessler leans in to take the face-off against Evgeny Malkin.
Perron and Perry in the box.
Still a lot of empty seats in this building. I don't know if they'll fill in or not.
Well, you saw the traffic
out there. Yeah, there was a ton of traffic. Now Scuderi trying to move it up the wall, and he does for Evgeny Malkin. Malkin and Kunitz up front. And this could turn into a 2-on-1. Kessler trying to get back. Kunitz fans on the chance. Malkin set him up. He just couldn't find the handle. And he moves it back to Scuderi. And a slap shot wide of the goal off the stick of Ian Cole. Cole gets it again in the slot. Cole turns to the forehand. Kessler pushes him off the puck. Malkin is going to have to go to center ice to play it.
Well, that was a nice play there by Kunitz, who had a great chance on the 2-on-1 in his 400th game as a Pittsburgh Penguin, the former Duck. Chris Kunitz.
Now Letang takes control of it. Left side of Pouliot. And he tried to get it to the net. Sutter there, pokes at it. The save made by Andersen. Pouliot went right to the goal mouth. The defenseman right up on the play. And Andersen somehow down and able to freeze the puck. The Penguins swarming the net.
Yeah, and Andrew Cogliano's hurt right now as he goes to the bench. Take a look at this 2-on-1. Kunitz tried to just kind of hold it and shoot it in one motion. Fanned on that opportunity. Pouliot going to the net here after Sutter got knocked to his knees. Pouliot, the defenseman, getting right involved, and you could see over to the corner on the left side of that screen, Andrew Cogliano, who has played in 606 straight games. Got injured there in that first shift. 606 straight. Has not missed a game in the National Hockey League. Longest current active streak. And of course, Doug Jarvis, 964, the all-time Ironman.
Thomas Fleischmann, former Florida Panther and Washington Capital, originally a Detroit Red Wing, who has scored a lot against the Penguins in his career. He's on the ice now as a member of the Ducks. 10 goals, 20 points in 25 games against Pittsburgh. Here's Sutter, though, back for the Penguins. Trying to get around Josh Manson. And taken away now by Pouliot, who moves it out to Letang. Back for Pouliot, and he's all over the offensive zone here in this 4-on-4 situation. Letang for Pouliot. And he'll dump it back in deep. Spalling is there for the Penguins. Nick Spalling back down low for Pouliot in behind the Ducks net. He's checked there by Clayton Stoner, and the Ducks get possession. It'll be lifted back out to center ice by Josh Manson and handled there by Letang. Here's Letang with it now. Over to Ian Cole. Letang slowly brings it ahead. Knocked down in the neutral zone, and
high stick on the
high
puck.
stick on the puck will stop play.
Now a lot of 4-on-4 action. Let's take a look at Cogliano wearing the number 7 for the Ducks here. He was in front of the net when on that last situation. Go to the right side of your screen. You see the skate of Pouliot come up between the legs of Cogliano, and he lost his stick right away. And every time that blade comes up, obviously very sharp, and who knows, we hope that Cogliano's okay, because he went right down that runway to the dressing room.
Kessler shoots it, and it's blocked in front. And Ryan Kessler, a dangerous player. Here comes Kunitz back now to center ice. Both teams at full strength. Anderson out of the net will stop it there. Slides it around the wall and ends up on the stick of Evgeny Malkin to Blake Como, and his shot blocked. Now out to Cole, a drive, and a blocker save made there by Anderson. Kunitz sends the puck back over to the opposite corner. Malkin over to get it. Kessler eyeing him, takes it away, moves it up the wall for Fleischmann. Jakob Silverberg, the other winger on this line, he goes to the bench now. The Ducks are making a change. The Penguins as well after dumping the puck in. Hampus Lindholm moves it ahead. Carried by Nate Thompson, a former Tampa Bay Lightning and New York Islander, dumps it in. Hornquist back over to play it. Letang is hit hard over there on the far wall by Patrick Maroon. But now David Perron has control of it.
Cogliano's on the ice there, Staggy. Good news for the Ducks.
If I'm not mistaken, Bob, he got shaken up in the opener between these two clubs and left the ice for a little while, and we were concerned that his streak was ending that night. That was opening night. Now Cogliano steps in, and offside is called. Let's take a look at our barrel leaders, Bob.
A lot of star talent, and most points by team tandems. There's Getzlaf and Perry who play together. Crosby and Malkin, not so much other than the power play. Look at the numbers in the NHL ranks. Ovechkin and Backstrom are tops on that NHL rank. And let's take a look at this situation right here. There's Letang. He took a little bit of a bump there from Patrick Maroon. Big heavy team, they call it. This Anaheim Ducks squad that leads the National Hockey League in points.
Spalling tipped it so that it would not be icing when it comes off the end boards and is scooped up with the glove of Frederick Anderson. So face-off coming up in the Ducks zone. 3 shots for the Penguins, 1 for the Ducks. I think the Penguins have come out here with a lot of energy, looking a lot more energetic than they did the other night in Colorado.
I agree. They look better on the 4-on-4 situation. They want to get out to a good start. They're looking for that first goal. Mike Johnson wanted a little more involvement from his forwards. He's getting it early in this hockey game. You don't want to fall behind to this hockey team right now. Anderson's had a good season with 30 wins already. Had the upper body injury. Not a lot of action lately. It's been Pittsburgh native Gibson.
Sekac turned the puck over in the neutral zone. Sekac played at Youngstown, a team that's owned by Troy Loney, and played with Troy Loney's son there. And he's out of the Czech Republic, Kladno, the same town that Jaromir Jagr is from. Sekac moves it up the right wing to Ricard Raquel. Back ahead for Sekac. He's fast. He's got to step on Scuderi. He went diving, knocked it off his stick, tripped him, and that'll be a penalty. I think that would have been a good play last year because it looked like he got stick on puck first, but he still tripped the player. So it will be tripping against Rob Scuderi.
Yeah, good call there, Steggy. It's the new rule they put in this year that even if you do get that puck first and trip the man, you're going to go off for the trip. And That was a look at the angles, backwards to forwards. Scuderi, he got a little bit of foot first, then he did get puck, and then he trips the man. Good call. The Ducks are on the power play.
That actually was a great defensive play until they changed the rule. Now it's just tripping. But he at least impeded his progress to the net. He may have had a good scoring opportunity there. So now the Ducks with the man advantage. They scored 3 power play goals against the Penguins on opening night in that 6-4 loss to the Penguins. Fleischmann works the right wing side. Perry's in the circle. Fowler with the puck. Kessler moves it into the middle, but Sutter there to pick it off, and this could be a chance here for the Penguins. Sutter and Winnick, but Anderson alertly came out of the net, then he banked it off the corner boards, right to the front of the goal and cleared it away. Letang shoots it in the save made by Anderson.
Like I said, Lovejoy said he was the best puck-handling goalie he's ever seen. And you know what? He didn't seem to panic as that angle wasn't very good. He got out there. It looked like the Penguins were going to have a 2-on-0. And Anderson, you can tell he's a big, strong guy. And he's obviously got strong forearms and is very strong with the hands, able to play that puck.
He's 6'3", 236.
That's a big man.
Face off to the left of Anderson between LaPierre and Rickard Rakell. Ducks on the power play, but the Penguins doing a good job. Craig Adams back in the lineup. Adams did not dress for 3 of the last 4. Healthy scratch. Important member of that Penguins penalty killing unit that has given up some power play goals the last few games. He's back in there helping the PK right now with LaPierre up front. And now a break up there by LaPierre, and he dumps it back into the corner. The Ducks really having a tough time here early in the game. LaPierre putting pressure on. The Ducks are 3-4 in their last 7 on home ice, but they have won 7 of their last 8 overall.
Their power play is not very good for the talent they have up front. 21st in the National Hockey League.
Here's a shot by Palmieri that's stopped by Greiss, and he holds onto it.
Well, Sutter, we thought he may have had a 2-on-0 almost on that last sequence we showed you in the opener. Pascal Dupuis found Sutter for a shorthanded tally against Gibson and the Ducks in the 6-4 victory.
And the Ducks will be getting a couple of key guys, though, on their power play who are hurt right now. James Wisniewski acquired at the trade deadline from Columbus, and also Sammy Vatanen, one of the really good young offensive defensemen in the game. He's injured right now, so their power play should improve by playoff time. Cam Fowler goes back for the puck. He had been paired up with Ben Lovejoy. And he moves it ahead now to Kessler. He drops it off for Getzlaf. Spaulding got over and knocked it off his stick. And Daniel Winnick just scoops it back to center ice where Fowler has it for Anaheim. Fowler pressured by Spaulding. Moves it left side to Getzlaf. Lovejoy over to play him. He turns away from that check. Finds Fowler at the point. Right back to Getzlaf. Kessler's in the high slot. Perry on the goal line. Getzlaf up top for Fowler. Fleischmann on the right wing takes the pass. Across ice now. Getzlaf shooting. And a save made by Greiss with Perry standing right in front of him. Now Lovejoy battling over to get to the loose puck. He got it to the line but didn't get it out. Held in by Fowler. 2 seconds ago on the penalty. Fleischmann holds it. Cross ice. And a good break up of that pass by Daniel Winnick as he got his stick in the lane. And now Scuderi's back on the ice. Perry centers it. Goes right past the stick of Kessler. And all the way back into the Ducks zone. 2 shots on goal, by the way, for the Ducks on that power play.
Yeah, and Daniel Winnick, really a good stick, Staggy. Through those gaps, those seams, the Ducks try to make those plays, and Winnick, he's got a long-rangey guy.
And an offside call on the Ducks. So the Penguins survived that first Duck power play and actually had a couple of good looks down at their end of the ring.
Well, we are in SoCal, and we are also scoreless here on Root Sports. And Ben Lovejoy was the spokesperson for the Ducks Kids Club before he was traded, where a membership gets you a growth chart in his liking. However, we learned that his head was actually photoshopped on that with another player's body. And the proof is that the body there is a left-handed shot, and he's a right-handed shot. I also found out that the last 5 Ducks to be the spokesperson for the Kids Club have been traded. Interesting.
So they won't be campaigning for that role anytime soon. Now the Ducks on the attack. Silverberg shooting, and that went off the goalpost behind Greiss. On the glove side of the Penguin goaltender. Silverberg, the Swede that was with the Ottawa Senators. Traded for Bobby Ryan. Centering pass. Comes all the way through the slot where Kunitz will take it. He's bumped by Fleischman and got the puck in front of the net to Pouliot. And now Malkin, he skates right in front of his own goal. Nice pass up the wing to Kunitz. Kunitz tried to get it deep, but the Ducks wouldn't let him do that. And now Fleischman slides it ahead for Silverberg. Stripped of the puck nicely by Lovejoy. And right back to the Anaheim line.
Be careful of that line. That's a tough line there with Silverberg. Kessler, who's fitting in nicely here. The big, powerful centerman of the Vancouver Canucks formerly.
Here's Getzlaf trying to toe drag move, but Pouliot stayed right with him, wouldn't let him do that. And now the puck squirts out in front, and it's frozen by Thomas Greiss. We invite you to tweet the booth to use the hashtag PensBooth. It's brought to you by Point Park University.
Getzlaf's line on the ice right now. All right-handed shooters.
It's a unique situation there. Getzlaf, Perry, and Palmieri. Dupre and Fowler on defense for the Ducks. The Penguins' top line on now. Crosby's unit. Also Paul Martin and Letang defensively. Cam Fowler with the puck. First round pick of the Ducks. Now it's Hornquist trying to move it ahead to Crosby. Broken up though by Getzlaf. And now picked up by Letang. Letang will just send it right to the Ducks line. Hornquist wheeled it in, but Crosby was ahead of the play and offside is called. Well, the Ducks were busy at the deadline, and they shedded quite a bit of money too. He did a really good job, Bob Murray, their GM, picking up Holzer and Dupre, who were among the top 7 or so players in the league in terms of hits per 60 minutes. Fleischman, a skilled player. Sekach can really skate. Wisniewski, we saw him score a goal against the Penguins last week. He's got a good shot. But they were also able to shed the contracts of Danny Heatley, Eric Brewer, Rennie Bourque, and Brizgalov, the goalie. Ilya Brizgalov retired. That's a lot of money they were able to clear, plus get those players. He did a good job to get them ready for the playoffs. Here's a shot from the point, and that's deflected away. The Stoner let it go. Taken now by Ian Cole. He tried to work it out, but it's held in by Cogliano, who dumped it back in behind. Taken now by Scuderi. And Winnick can't get the puck out. But Cole will try. He banks it ahead. Knocked out of midair by Sutter, but that was with a high stick. And the whistle blows.
Good foot speed early for Pittsburgh. A penalty kill. There's the main man. And there, Manson, another one in the NHL. Yeah, there's like a Josh Manson in game 28. He's 3 assists on the season. And his dad, Dave Manson, boy, was he tough to play against. He had a bomb, I tell you. He had the hardest shot from the blue line, and he was tough. You got around him, you'd feel that wood come right down on the back of your leg. He was as tough as they came, and played for a few teams, including the Chicago Blackhawks.
And Josh Manson, his son, playing in his 28th NHL game. Puck bounces into the Penguin zone, and Rob Scuderi back to get it. And Pouliot tried to push it aside. Fleischman centers. That's broken up. And the Penguins able to get it to center. Kunitz gloves it down for himself. Carries into the Duck zone and drops it off. Malkin there. Look at that tight turn by Malkin. To Como. Como back behind the net to Kunitz. Malkin goes to the front of the net. Kunitz works it up top instead to Lovejoy. Throws it back to the goal wide. And look him off the end boards and taken there by Fleischman. Back around now behind for Beauchemin. Another way, Dave Manson, who you saw, he was struck by a puck in the throat early in his career. And it affected his voice for the rest of his career, as damaged his voice box. So he had a very gravelly voice. A dangerous situation for him. Now the puck is sent up into the Duck zone and an icing call against Pittsburgh. Pirates playback wraps up next week with the Pirates game against the Braves back on September 23rd. You can relive the excitement of the Pirates clinch game. They beat the Braves to secure a playoff berth for the 2nd consecutive year. Pirates playback Monday at 6 on Root Sports. Put on the goggles. Raquel takes the face-off against Lapierre, won the draw. And the shot blocked. Penguins doing a good job defensively right now against the Ducks. Each team has 4 shots. The Ducks had a power play chance earlier. 8:25 to go in the first period. It's another defensive battle here. And here's Spalling backhanding the puck into the Anaheim zone. Back to get it goes Stoner. He's hit hard. Greg Adams throwing his weight around. Second on the team in hits with 156 now. And the puck comes to center. Then was trading Dupre and Bortuzzo, two top hitters on the blue line.
They lost Zach Sill as well.
Exactly, but Adams having been out of the lineup, but now you put him back in, you get a little more grit back in there. Cole back to the puck. We expect Cole to be a pretty physical defenseman when he's in the lineup. Hornquist chasing the puck down. Fowler tapped it off the wall. Perron there. It goes right past Cole. Getzlaf steps in against Scuderi. Shoots it up high on a save made by Grice.
Getzlaf tricky with that stick to get around the poke check of Scuderi after the puck was turned over in the neutral zone.
Now it's Scuderi with it over to Cole. Cole banks it off the boards, off a stick into the Ducks zone, taken there by the goalie Anderson. Penguins have one scoring chance tonight to 3 for the Ducks so far. Right wing pass, Perry tips it in. Letang back to get it against Palmieri. Pushes him into the wall, but Palmieri with a stick on the puck for Perry. Spinning off the puck to the near side where Bo Bennett tried to get it out. Now Bo Bennett will carry the puck to center for the Penguins. Confronted by Getzlaf, he's able to swing wide against Lindholm. Now Beauchemin sends it up the right wing wall, and Kyle Palmieri has it there for Anaheim. Into the middle for Getzlaf against Paul Martin. Martin trying to stay with him. Letang picks off the centering pass intended for Cogliano, and it's Winnick carrying it back now for the Penguins. He's upended at the blue line.
Blue line got him.
And now it's Lovejoy hit hard by Nate Thompson, but the Penguins with a puck.
Good speed right now, up and down the ice here.
Here's Como down the wing. Como turning. Dancing away from the check of Manson. He centered it and actually went off the stick of the goaltender Anderson. Now Patrick Maroon moves it ahead to Cogliano, and he will bank it off the glass into the Penguin zone. You can feel the energy picking up, the pace a bit here in this game. And Evgeny Malkin's on the ice, and there's a guy who can really bring some pace. He has been flying for the Penguins.
He was tripped up there. He came all the way back trying to go 200 feet.
Look out, Silverberg around Lovejoy. Lovejoy takes him into the boards, and now Malkin follows on. Dishes it off to Pouliot, whose right wing pass is not taken by Hornquist, and the Ducks go D to D. It's Dupre shooting it on the net. The bouncing puck is fielded by Grice. No Ducks around, so he keeps play moving. Martin takes the pass from Letang ahead for Perron, who tips it in. Cam Fowler back to get it. Hornquist applying the pressure. Now Dupre on the near side on his backhand. Under a little bit of duress here. He gave it away. Martin moves it along for Letang, and his shot off a stick. And the floating puck is gobbled up by the goaltender Anderson.
Yeah, he took a little bump from Hornquist as he went and played that like a second baseman in spring training. And Hornquist trying to get to that cage. All smiles right now, but the pace has picked up, and Adams on Stoner getting physical.
Still scoreless here in Anaheim, and you know the sport of hockey continues to grow in Southern California. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, the Ducks announced the name of their new AHL affiliate, which will move from Norfolk to San Diego next season. They will be called the Gulls, which is the name of the old WHL and IHL team that played in San Diego for many years, beginning in the 60s. In fact, Staggy, Les Binkley played there in 1967. And the next year, he was the starting goaltender for the expansion Penguins.
That is a fact. And they used to have a sign in San Diego for Bink and said, the Les Binkley. It said, only the Lord saves more than Binkley. Now here's Letang dumping the puck into the corner, and Sidney Crosby takes it behind the net. And he is sandwiched by two Ducks.
Yeah, Dupre again. He's got a target on his back, Crosby. Look out.
Getzlaf down the wing. Getzlaf pulling up to the backhand, back to the forehand, holds it, centers it, and it goes ricocheting and pinballing around to the stick of Letang, who quickly whips it ahead to Sidney Crosby, working on Dupre. And he turns his back on Dupre and handles the puck and sends it across the rink for Perron. Back behind the net, and there's Getzlaf again at the other end of the rink. He drops it off to Dupre, whose lead pass is tipped in by Palmieri, but right to Chris Letang. And up the wing now for Craig Adams. Dupre slides it across. Beauchemin tapped it ahead. Now he'll skate to the puck. Dupre will and get it to the line, but no further. The Ducks defenseman Beauchemin ahead to Nate Thompson, who bounces it into the Penguin zone. Scuderi back to get it. Cogliano in on the forecheck. Scuderi found Adams, who got it to Cole, and ahead now to LaPierre. Penguins fourth line, making it happen right now. LaPierre, Scuderi, and his shot off a stick. sails into the netting behind the Anaheim goal. 4:07 to go in the first period.
Well, it picked up about halfway through. There's been good transition speed, both ends of the rink, and some hitting here now starting to pick up in Anaheim. The Penguins, the first period scoring, they didn't get any in Colorado, none here so far, and they've dropped to second in that category. And Simon Dupré was hurt in his last game. You could see a few stitches on his nose during that interview here this morning, and he's trying to make a name for himself in this game. You can see already he's trying to be very physical. They put him and Fowler out against the Crosby unit.
From the draw, Scuderi across the goal, and he blasts it wide of the net. Manson trying to get it out. Up in the air, Raquel able to work it back to center ice, where it's dumped in by Sekach, and he'll get in after it. Sends it over to the near corner, and up top now for Manson, Josh Manson. Across now for Stoner, a shot, saved by Greiss, but he's able to control that rebound with a man right on the doorstep looking to pop it home.
He's bobbled a couple of pucks here, and you know, he's working hard. The backup netminder, you don't get a lot of starts, hasn't started the last 4, 1 and 2 in his last 7. You see his check his positioning, but just leaving that little bit of garbage down around his legs that he's able to smother.
Got there just before Raquel's stick could get there. Marc-Andre Fleury will go head-to-head against Jonathan Quick tomorrow night in Los Angeles. So he's got the night off here as he watches Greiss in the back-to-back situation. And now it's Lovejoy with it. Over to Malkin. Banks it ahead. Kunitz. Across now for Lovejoy. Kessler bearing down on Lovejoy. He's able to lift it ahead nicely to Chris Kunitz. Now for Pouliot. Pouliot right down the alley. Fires it high off the glass. And he's gaining more and more confidence going north, Derek Pouliot. We saw in that 4-on-4 situation, he was everywhere in the offensive zone. The other night, he was really good on the wall, getting pucks out of his zone. And then, of course, he got burned on that goal by Gabriel Landeskog. Mike Johnson said he should have kept him to the outside. And it's sometimes not easy, Bob. He was going up against a pretty good player in Landeskog on that goal. And there's Sidney Crosby, speaking of good players.
Yeah, he comes on the ice. Fowler and Dupré come on the ice against that line. And the top unit, the forward unit, Getzlaf, Palmieri, and Perry on the ice. So you want some fireworks? You might see it right here. Talk about, so we highlighted these tandems in the open. A lot of star power in this hockey game. Still 0-0.
2:55 remaining. The tag was hit from behind, tripped up. Penalty. Perry, the man who did it, he'll be going to the box, and the Penguins will get their first power play chance of the game.
That's a real good call. Letang is very slippery. He tried to turn out of the hit. Take a look here, and then there's the right leg of Corey Perry. He stuck it out to knock down Chris Letang. That was, to me, an easy call. Braun didn't like it. Perry didn't like it. And he's going to the box.
Bruce Boudreau didn't like it either, especially if the Penguins could cash in on the power play.
They've been hot.
They were only 0 for 1. They only had one chance in Colorado after getting 18 opportunities and 6 goals in the previous 4 games on the power play. UPMC Sports Medicine power play. Crosby across the ice. Malkin, no, he shot it just wide. And Letang to Crosby. Into the slot. Kunitz shot it, and that one was off a leg or a stick, and it just fluttered wide of the net, and the net is dislodged.
Puck is stuck either in the back of the net or under the net. And there it is. Right underneath the goal cage. Can't score that way. Look at this. Crosby threading it through sticks and feet and bodies. Right onto the tape of Malkin. It just shot it wide. The big netminder Anderson. They want to look for that shot first mentality of the Penguins if they can. And they're going to deem that puck was under the net. It was put there, the Penguins put it underneath there, so they're going to bring the face-off outside.
Crosby, Kunitz, Hornquist, Letang, and Malkin. A 5-man unit on the power play for the Penguins. And you got to beware of the Ducks. They lead the league with 9 shorthanded goals. There's Letang to the right side looking for Hornquist. And of course the Penguins have allowed 8, and they are ranked 28th out of 30 teams in the league in that category. Malkin with it. Hornquist. Now Letang. Silverberg and Kessler up front on the penalty kill. The shot by Malkin was blocked by Silverberg, but the Penguins hustle to maintain possession of the puck. Good work by Letang. And Malkin works it to the corner. Hornquist around behind for Kunitz, all the way over to Crosby. Sidney Crosby to Kunitz. The shot couldn't get a real good look at the net there, and it was partially blocked. And now loose, and Dupre under some pressure, and he's able to turn and wheel that puck back into the Penguin zone. And he's good at making those tight turns, Dupre.
Well, he didn't panic in what could have been a real panic situation there. Tight quarters, he was able to navigate it, get it out on that backhand with the Penguins all over the Ducks in that offensive zone.
Yeah, we're down to 35 seconds on the Perry penalty. The Penguins' second power play unit on now with Letang still out here. And it is taken now by Beauchemin. And he'll just drive it down the ice off the stick of Getzlaf right back to Pouliot. Look at that little move he made there to get himself free on Cogliano, and he works it ahead now for Como. It dodges or slips the check of Beauchemin. Pouliot got in deep to move the puck to Como. Now back out to the point in Perron. Penguins are moving bodies around on this power play. We've got 5 seconds left on it, and it's cleared now to the line where Martin will take it.
Pouliot, don't put the reins on him. I like what he's doing right now. He'll find his way, the youngster, but he looks very confident right now, and he's really moving his feet and getting involved offensively.
Edom with it. Emerson Edom, who was a roommate of Bo Bennett's in the offseason and was a former line mate in Pee Wee hockey. They both played roller hockey together. California natives. Emerson Edom, number 16, out of Thompson. Up top to Manson. It came out over the line. He brought it back in, and offside is called. Coming up in the first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store, Dan Potash will speak with Daniel Winnick, former Duck. Winnick played a couple of years here. And he was with them for all 48 games in the lockout year, and then 76 games the next season after that. From 2012 to 2014, Winnick. And he said he played 25 games at center with the Ducks, with Saku Koivu on the shelf. He was originally drafted as a centerman, but mostly plays left wing. And that's what he's playing with the Penguins right now, but he is a versatile guy. Here's Kunitz sending it inside the line and cleared by the Ducks to center. Now Paul Martin has it, and time expires here in the first period. 8 shots for the Ducks, 5 for the Penguins, and no score, Bob. Each team failed to score on the power play.
Yeah, but you can tell a good respect for the teams in the first 10 minutes, but it has picked up here. Crosby still in conversation with the linesman right now.
Let's go to Paul Alexander and Jay Coffey.
We'd like to thank the Penguins fans who helped make the Pens charity auction on Root Sports so successful again this year. Thanks to your generous support, the Penguins Foundation and the Mayor of the Mew Foundation had over $1 million raised, proving once again why Penguins fans are the best in all of hockey.
Well, I know pretty much all their tendencies. I've been in Pittsburgh for 6 years. I've been practicing with them for a long time, so I know their moves and I know how they play, so I don't need a refreshment about it.
That is Mr. Dupre talking about the fact that he's very familiar with the skill of the Penguins on the other side, and he's been given a pretty good assignment here tonight, Bob.
Yes, he and Cam Fowler out against that Crosby unit, and he obviously wants to play physical against Crosby. He went out of his way a couple of times in that first period to give him that extra shot. Even when Crosby was engaged there, he went over. There he is, respecting the gap right there. So good stuff there for Simon Dupre, who was well liked in Pittsburgh. And of course Ben Lovejoy, who he was traded for, played 6 shifts, 5:29 for Lovejoy in that first period of play.
Tonight's face-offs are brought to you. Well, we'll get to that in a moment, but there's the look at Ben Lovejoy. Bob talking about his ice time there, you see. And wearing number 12 now. He knows that Scott Harrington wears number 6, so he said, hey, another guy has that number now. This is Penguins 2.0 for me. So 2.0, I guess 2 times 6 is 12, right? Tonight's face-offs are presented by the new face of Northwood Realty Services. Face-offs were virtually even in that first period between the two clubs.
Well, speaking of face-off, Sutter, who's taken this face-off, has not had a losing night in the last 8 hockey games. Clipping at just over 56% for Mr. Sutter.
Sutter, Winnick, and Bennett. Sutter lost his stick on that face-off. He goes and gets a new one at the bench as the Ducks dump it into the Penguin zone. Sutter now back to the puck. Pumped there by Manson. Cogliano poking it free, and Lovejoy's got it. And Lovejoy shielding Nate Thompson and moving that puck out to center. Now it comes right to the stick of Sutter, who charges in. Goes left wing to Winnick. A shot. He was looking for a redirect from Sutter. It didn't connect. And now Bo Bennett trying to keep it in, and he does for Winnick. Daniel Winnick moves it up top to Lovejoy. Just throws it off the end boards on purpose. And Manson there. Now for Stoner, who sends it up the wall for Cogliano. And he will dump it into the Penguin zone. The Ducks are the 4th heaviest team, and an average of 208 pounds, and the 8th tallest. Talk a lot about heavy teams in the West. Penguins again on the attack. Paul Martin just shoved it towards the net. Now Hornquist overskates, but Perron follows on. He had a stick on it, and the Ducks come back. It's Corey Perry down the right wing into the Penguin zone. He's got a man driving the net, Palmieri, but his pass went behind Palmieri, and it comes now to Perron on the near wall. David Perron sends it up the middle, and it's Dupre with it now for the Ducks. Ahead to Perry. Into the middle now for Getzlaf. Malkin's got an eye on him, and he backhands one to the net. Save made. Malkin gets right to the rebound.
Good defense there by Malkin. He shielded Getzlaf and tried to protect that puck and get to the net. So Malkin playing that 200-foot game right now. Penguins got to win this race.
Kunitz trying to get in there first.
Did.
He does. He got ahead of Oshierman. And now it's Como on the puck. Bumped by Kessler. But the Ducks able to recover. And it is Silverberg carrying it to center ice. An offside called on Anaheim. Take a look at De Automoto's great day for hockey. Rick Tocchet, Penguins assistant coach, as a member of the Penguins, scored his first hat trick on March 6th, 1992 in a 7-3 win over the San Jose Sharks.
I remember that one. I think he had 3 tap-ins that day from Mario. Did Rick Tocchet. He was traded right before that. I mean, he just got him. And
was that in San Jose? Or
that was in San Jose.
At the Cow Palace.
Yeah. And, you know, the Penguins haven't fared that well in California. In the last 25 games, they've only won 5. It's a little different now than it used to be going through San Jose. That hit a glove on the bench.
Well, the old Cow Palace was something else.
Yeah, dressing room upstairs, pictures of cows as you walked up the stairs. It was awesome.
That place was something.
Yep.
And the Penguins had some fun in that building, I'll tell you. California hockey. Emerson Edom, an example of that, number 16. Native of California. Wayne Gretzky, of course, coming to Los Angeles, had a big impact on kids playing hockey out here. And Luc Robitaille before that. He really revolutionized this area with the rollerblades. Which, of course, Bo Bennett played on. There's a shot up high off the stick of Emerson Edom, and that one deflected over the goal, and now taken by LaPierre at center. LaPierre down the wing, pulls up, looks back. And we're going to see Luc Robitaille. They're going to unveil a statue of Luc Robitaille tomorrow night in Los Angeles as the Penguins meet the Kings.
The giveaway right up the middle.
Right up the middle of Scuderi. Now Cole with a drive. Good hard shot there on the save made by the goaltender Frederik Andersen.
Yeah, it's one advantage being a left-handed shot playing the right side. You can take that pass and rip it in one motion that one time by Cole on Andersen. He just looked big, solid in the net. This could be a 1-0 hockey game. You just got the feel, the makings of it right now. These two hockey teams, and there is the feed. Nice pass there from Scuderi. Just nice pace right into the wheelhouse of Cole. Gets it right on the target, and you're hoping somebody can get to the net for a redirect or a screen if you can.
And speaking of the Los Angeles Kings, of course, that's where Rob Scuderi won a Stanley Cup. Too many men on the ice for the Penguins, and they're shorthanded now. And Perron is serving the penalty for the Penguins, and the face-off to the right of Greiss between Sutter and Getzlaf. A couple of righties And to the corner it goes, and Scuderi trying to get it out if he can. 2 Ducks on him, and they're able to win possession of the puck. And now Getzlaf up high, works it across the ice. Shot off the stick of one of the Penguins. It was Winnick's stick. And a chance for Fowler. Now Fowler moves back to his point position. And holding the puck on the near wall is Kessler. He works it down low to Perry. Back up top to Fowler. Across now to Getzlaf. His head up and snaps it down to the goal line. Fleischmann tried to center it. Letang broke it up. Now Kessler's got control. And up to Fowler at the point. Back to Kessler. Kessler works it down low. Perry poke check nicely by Greiss. That's one of his favorite moves, dragging that puck back over to the forehand in front of the net. And Greiss was ready for it and poked it away. Now Fowler's shot off a stick. Perry whacking away at it. It's cleared over the far wall. Winnick gets over there. Getzlaf went down in a heap. Winnick tried to get it out, couldn't do so. Ducks able to keep it in. Getzlaf back on his skates, centers it. Shot taken by Fleischmann. Rebound blocked by Sutter. And taken by Winnick, and Winnick with plenty of time. And he couldn't get it all the way down, but it comes right to Sutter, who has a chance here shorthanded. Sutter trying to drive around Fowler, and his backhand shot is gloved by Anderson.
Wow, what a save by Anderson. Flat-footed was Fowler. And Sutter, I know he was exhausted, but he realized he had Fowler in a predicament, and he took it to the backhand, and Anderson was able to snatch that with that long reach. Take a look at Greiss and that poke check on Corey Perry. He tried that spin move, his move, as you called it, down on that goal line. Great play by Greiss. Good goaltending at both ends.
Lovejoy drives it down the ice. 37 seconds remaining on the Penguins penalty for too many men on the ice. Beauchemin with it now for Anaheim. Sends it up the right wing. Rink wide pass off the boards, and Sakach can't catch up with it. Lovejoy able to distribute it and all the way down. Taken now by Hampus Lindholm.
This is a good one. Plus 20, plus 49 since the 13-14 season. Nobody's got a better number than that.
Taken
Awesome.
6th in 2012, 2 notches ahead of Derek Pouliot in Pittsburgh at the draft.
Another defenseman who hasn't seen action yet, James Wisniewski, took a Crosby slap shot in Pittsburgh on March 1st. He also scored a goal that game on the power play for the Jackets. Now back here in Anaheim for Bruce Boudreau.
Martin slaps the puck into the Duck zone. 9 seconds remaining on the Penguin penalty. Lindholm gains the red line and dumps it in. Out to the point now it is Beauchemin. 2 shots on goal on that power play for the Ducks. Perron's back on the ice, centering pass, broken up by Letang, busting out of there with a puck. Ahead to Perron, and now to Sidney Crosby. Crosby trying to stick handle in, taken by Perron in front of Crosby, and the save made by Anderson. I think he just got a piece of that. Out to the point, it's Letang with it. He shoots it, and that's blocked. Letang gets back for the puck, though, at center. And right on him was Emerson Edom, who blocked that shot, but Letang did a great job to shield him so that he could get back to the puck at center ice, and now he hands it off to Lovejoy. Lovejoy drives it into the Duck zone. Anderson handed it right to Kunitz. And Kunitz couldn't work it back in front, but he still has the puck. Now he tried to reverse it, and the Ducks break it up.
You can see he likes to handle a puck, but a bad decision there. The Penguins with a good forecheck, getting in on that netminder, knowing he's playing a lot of pucks.
Now Como took his man on the wall, but it's picked up by Cogliano. Great speed, but he's trying to get around Pouliot, couldn't do so. And Pouliot ends up with the puck. Derek Pouliot hands it off to Malkin. Then Gino gallops to center ice. Malkin trying to get around the defense. Couldn't do so. He was stood up nicely by Manson, and then it was taken by Stoner, who got it ahead to Nate Thompson with the right wing to Cogliano. Drop pass. And not a good decision there. The Penguins could have a break here the other way. 1 man back. 2-on-1. Kunitz to Malkin. Malkin shot. He missed. Como tried to work it in front, and it came behind the goal. A 3-on-1 for the Penguins, and they couldn't get a shot on net.
Boy, you had all the Ducks going north, and the play was intercepted. And, wow, what an opportunity for Malkin.
Now it's Ian Cole for the Penguins coming to center ice. There's some room, and he takes it. Dumps the puck in, gets in after it himself. Bo Bennett in now. Manson, took a hit to make a play. And now Sakach threw his knee out on Cole, or vice versa. Either way, Cole went down on the near wall. Now he gets back as the puck is carried ahead by Bennett and stripped away from him by Ricard Raquel. Off the left wing now to Emerson Edom, who throws it to the net. Greiss shoves it to the far wall. Sakach has it there. Sends it back into the corner for Raquel. Edom's open. Raquel steps out to the forehand, a turning shot, and a Good save by Grice. And a sneaky play by Rickard Rakell.
These chances coming out of nowhere, Staggy, for the Penguins. They've had a couple of glorious odd man situations.
Game has definitely opened up a bit. There's a hit by Dupre on Cole. That's interesting. And now it's taken by Edom. Sekac handed it off to Rakell. They're at the end of their shift here. They need to get off. The third line of the Ducks. Now turning back with the puck is Dupre. Moves it to the right side. And then quick passing. This is Cam Fowler barging his way in and dumping it to the corner. Letang blew it a tire and went down, but Martin able to send it up the wall where Hornquist has it for the Penguins. Penguins skating, boy. They're really tramping when they get that puck. And this has been a good skating game for the Penguins right from the start of the game. Now here's Hornquist with it, but offside will be called because Crosby just could not get back onside in time.
No, one of those chances that came right out of the blue. Perron to Crosby, soaring down the middle of the ice. The old give and go almost working. Well, active points streaks in this Pittsburgh-Anaheim battle. Corey Perry has scored in 7 of them in a row. 8 goals, and Sidney Crosby has scored in 5. Never missed a game against the Ducks. 5 goals for Sidney Crosby, and those two have been dangerous in this hockey game.
Perry with 5 goals in his last 2 games against the Penguins. 2 last year in a game, and the hat trick on opening night in Pittsburgh. And they were line mates at one time, World Juniors. This is Hampus Lindholm. Left wing pass now. Maroon lifts it inside the Penguin zone. Craig Adams playing like a defenseman, able to take the puck and move it up into the Ducks zone. The Ducks turn it right back to center, but now Scuderi paired up with Ian Cole.
This fourth line of Pittsburgh's been physical, Adams, with a couple of big hits in the first. And Lapierre had 4 hits.
Penguins making it happen now. Spaulding trying to move it in front. It goes off the cage and taken now by Patrick Maroon. And he comes right back for the Ducks into the Penguin zone. Standing him up was Cole, but he dropped it off to Lindholm. His shot off the stick of Scuderi and right to Max Lapierre. And he's under a little bit of duress there, but Scuderi bails him out, moves it in around to the corner for Ian Cole. Up the wall now for Spaulding. Pinching down on him is Clayton Stoner. Stepping in is Adams to get a hold of it, and he's able to clear it off the wall to center. Kessler snapped it ahead, but mishandling the puck was Fleischmann, and the Penguins have it. Scuderi goes D to D to Ian Cole.
We talked about Fleischmann. 20 points, 10 goals in 25 games in his career against the Penguins to lead all Ducks.
Hasn't scored against the Penguins yet this year in a couple of games for the Florida Panthers. Keep your eye on him, number 14. This is Kessler into the Penguin zone. Drops it off now for Silverberg. He's bumped by Como. Malkin on the puck deep in his own zone. He overskated. Centering pass. Lovejoy got a stick on that. It was intended for Silverberg, who now is poke checked nicely by Lovejoy. Good defensive play there by Lovejoy. And now Malkin takes a pass from Como. Return pass for Como. And he fell down. He was lunging for the puck. He's trying to crawl to the puck if he could. He just couldn't get there. Now Malkin with it.
And that shift, Steg, you mentioned the one or two of the good sticks for Lovejoy. He had 3 good stick plays.
Como shot. That's in. It's a goal. Como has scored. In and out in a hurry. The referee pointed to it right away. A long shot finds its way behind Anderson, and Blake Como can shoot it. And he certainly did there to give the Penguins a 1-0 lead.
Wow, it's tough to score from that kind of range, but Pouliot carried the mail down the middle of the ice, and he backed off the defense with his speed and with his hands, and Como through a screen rips it up over the glove hand. Wow, what a shot. Right through Fowler, right up under that bar. Pouliot started it. Como ended it.
And tell you something, that was about exactly the same. Look at that, a stick right into the throat of Anderson. Whose stick was that?
It might have been his own defenders as the Penguins went to the net.
And I think it was Dupre who almost slashed his throat there coming down into the slot. Now here comes right to the net. A chance for the Ducks on the right wing by Corey Perry. Well, stopped by Grice. That was a good save. Perry again with it now. From his knees, able to move the puck. But Perron picks off the pass, forces it back to center. Here come the Penguins. A 4-on-2 here. Letang works it left side. Perron shooting. Oh, and it hit something on the way to the net. I think it might have been Hornquist who went cutting in front of the goal there. And the Penguins have had a 4-on-2 and a 4-on-1 there, and they're unable to score. But they do get one from Como from long range, and it's 1-0.
Well, the Penguins now with a 1-0 lead, but I think it's fair to say that the game opened up a little bit more for both teams offensively for the first 10 minutes or so of the second period. How do you continue to pressure them, if you will?
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of offensive talent on both sides of the ice. I thought first period traded a few chances. Third period, or second period, you're right, it's picked up a lot. So we got to bunker down a little bit. We got to respond better to a goal. They got a couple of chances there right after we scored. So we still got to play structured and make sure we're doing the right thing defensively.
All right, Gary, thank you.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you.
Guys.
Penguins win a draw, and a good glove save by Anderson on the shot by Cole. And the Ducks start back to center ice, and it's Cogliano. Taken away from him by Sutter. Penguins moving the puck quickly. Ian Cole sends it up the wing. And now it is Stoner just whacking it back to neutral ice. The Penguins have to regroup in the neutral zone. That goal by Como was shot from a very similar distance as the one that Iginla scored on the other night in Colorado. It went to a different spot, but it had a similar velocity to it, and it caught the goalie by surprise, just as maybe Iginla did the other night against Fleury.
If you're going to back up, you got to shoot it through that screen. You're not going to go around the defenseman one-on-one there. So he took advantage of Fowler backing up, and he's got that hard, heavy shot. You know that, does Como.
Now Letang goes back, and he has control of the puck. And Chris Letang having a Norris Trophy year. This is Paul Martin coming into the Duck zone. He'll dump it to the corner. The Penguins are changing. Martin peels back to get into defensive position. He looked at the bench there to see what the situation was. Now taking it is Dupre with it. Como pressuring Dupre. He finds Fowler. Fowler up to center ice. Coming over to tap it the other way is Letang, and Fowler takes it at the line. Dupre was commenting today about how well Fowler skates. And now Fowler just sent the puck down the ice in an icing call against Anaheim.
Well, the former Duck Ben Lovejoy, right before that goal scored by Como, he did great work. Look at him standing up, using his stick right there on Silverberg. The puck comes back around. Stick on the puck is Lovejoy. Again, stick on the ice to separate that pass, and then stick on puck, turning the puck the other way for Pittsburgh that led to the goal. So Ben Lovejoy, really good gap there. Good stick work with the stick on the ice, leading to the Penguins' first goal. And he gets the plus, and Dupre gets the minus.
And Malkin gets the second assist. The first assist going to Derek Pouliot on the Como goal. Here's Hornquist right there, shooting. He scores! Patrick Hornquist sneaks one in. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh. Como and Hornquist both scored on opening night against the Ducks, and they have goals here to give the Penguins a 2-0 lead with 8:07 to go in the second period.
Well, they gave the Ducks an icing because Letang just got back. That led to the face-off in the offensive zone. It was a tight race in the other end. And take a look at the face-off. Face-off win, get the puck deep. Two defensemen on one player. And then Hornquist finding, well, a flaw or an opening somehow on Anderson there. Anderson couldn't believe it. Hornquist, that puck has eyes sometimes, Staggy, and it did there for the Penguins. They go up 2-0. And I'll tell you, Anderson has been shaky. He has. Even playing the puck, he's turned it over. Shaky again to here. And the Penguins find the seam and get up by 2.
Perron and Crosby assisting on the goal by Patrick Hornquist. And now we get an icing call against the Penguins. Anderson is making only his second start, Bob, since a neck injury. John Gibson, the Pittsburgh native that played in the last 11 of the last 12 and started 10 of those 11. There's another look at the goal. So Anderson has been maybe a little rusty because he's coming back off an injury. But Bruce Boudreau says he's going to rotate Gibson and Anderson the rest of the way. And you remember on opening night, a lot of folks thought that Anderson should have started. But Gibson did because he was in Pittsburgh in his hometown and he was nervous. He did not have a good showing, and the Penguins were able to score 6 goals and win the game 6-4. So they come back with Anderson tonight after Gibson had played really well recently. They're 7-1 in their last 8. But he did not. He's not going to be happy with, I guess, maybe even either one of those 2 goals, especially that one.
Yeah, and they played the rotation, Staggy, because they played 12 in the next 23. Only 4 games the last 2 weeks of the season for the Ducks.
Here's Kunitz. He's got a man open. Como, he shoots him instead of the save made by Anderson. And then Lindholm got it to center ice. Penguins with good gap there as Letang stood up, and now he just drops it back into his own zone, and Malkin has it there. And the Penguins came out in the first period and looked so much better than they did in the first period the other night against Colorado. And they've come on here in the second period to get the first 2 goals of the game. And they've killed a couple of Ducks power play opportunities in this game too. This is Sekac. He's really got some speed down the wing. He shoots it up high off a stick and into the netting.
Now Hornqvist doing his dirty work around that net. A lot on the right side, and there he is scoring from. There's the X, his 20th of the season for Patrick Hornqvist to tie Crosby in that category with 20 goals. Malkin 27, and there he is. A lot of them on that right side of the ice for Patrick Hornqvist. You can see his game. He's elevating after coming back from his injury. But this game, you know, it's in the balance because 10 wins the Ducks when trailing after 2 periods. So you got to keep on it, keep on it.
Hornqvist now has 5 goals in his last 6 games.
Really? Wow.
Now Dupre sends it to the corner. Taken there by Sekac. Back to Dupre. Good pass on the tape for Fowler. For Sekac, coming with speed into the Penguin zone. The backhander. Price the save. The rebound. And Ricard Raquel can't pull the trigger, but there's going to be a penalty here. Maybe a slash. The stick's broken on the ice.
It's Hornqvist right to the box.
That hurts.
So a slash, Patrick Hornqvist, the netminder, right in front of the cage. Whack, there it is. Breaking the stick right in the slot area. Good look at it there. So an easy call for the official. And the Ducks get their 3rd power play. This is the first time in 5 games that the Ducks have got more than 1 power play opportunity in a game. They haven't been getting any chances either.
They're 0 for 2 with 4 shots on their previous 2 power plays. A great opportunity for them to get some light in this building. And you heard what Bob said. They've been a good come-from-behind team this year. Here's Fowler to the right side. Getzlaf fakes it, works it down low. Fleischmann centers off of a tank skate, and save made by Greiss. It was a close call there. Fowler to Perry. He's whacked from behind by Sutter and lost the puck, but they get it back. Fowler to the right side. Fleischmann shoots it. Save made by Greissman. Greiss, rather. And now it is Kessler trying to get a hold of it. Into the corner now, Perry behind the net for Fleischmann. Back for Perry and went right past his stick, and Ryan Kessler gets to it. Kessler hounded by Winnick, able to get it to Fowler to Getzlaf on the left side of the ice now. Ryan Getzlaf moving around on this power play for the Ducks. And they've had possession in the Penguin zone this whole time. And they get it to Fowler. Back over to Kessler. Looks at the net, shoots it up high over the glove of Greiss. It skipped up off the glass and didn't leave the zone. And Perry's able to work it to the corner to Getzlaf. Now Letang bumps him off the puck. Reaching in is Scuderi. Try to move it to Sutter rather than clear it. And it's held in by Fowler. Fleischmann with it again up top now to Fowler. To Getzlaf. Down low for Perry. Back up top, Fowler. The shot deflected up into the netting behind the goal. And a long sequence of possession for the Ducks. 40 seconds to go on the penalty. On the latest edition of the Penguins in the Room, here Bo Bennett mic'd up in the Penguins game against Chicago. Follow Marc-Andre Fleury to the NHL All-Star Game and much more in the Room tomorrow at 9 on Root Sports.
40 seconds left in the Hornqvist minor for slash. A lot of talk on this faceoff. Lovejoy wanting to get situated, know the situation. Lapierre trying to win it into the corner.
Derek Pouliot's on the ice in the penalty killing situation for the Penguins. He and Ben Lovejoy. Pouliot fires it around and gets it all the way down the ice.
That's why you talk. That's why you communicate. Lovejoy had the puck. He just put it right on as a flip-flop. Pouliot and Lovejoy on that faceoff so they can get it out on the forehand. Great work there.
Puck is dumped in, and 21 seconds to go on the penalty. The Ducks' second power play unit on the ice. The Penguins trying to kill it here, leading 2-0 in the game, and the puck up into the netting, and another face-off coming up. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
I love communication. I love the talk. And then here they are talking again on this face-off. Lovejoy saying, just like that, let's see if we can do it again. Win the face-off, I'll get it, I'll give it to you, and you shoot it down.
Raquel against Lapierre. Lapierre's trying to pull that puck back to the corner, and Pouliot's ready. Palmieri for the Ducks. LaPierre's stick is down first. He's on the road. Got to do that. He won the draw. Pouliot didn't get enough on it this time to get it out. And it's held in by Beauchemin. But good pressure there at the blue line by LaPierre. And now Pouliot, and he's able to backhand the puck into the Duck zone, and that'll kill the rest of the penalty. Hornquist is set free. The Penguins maintain the 2-0 lead. 4:28 to go in the second period here in Anaheim. Now Raquel using his edges to work the puck into the Penguin zone, and to get it now is Sekac. Boudreau's been using these guys a lot tonight. He started the game with this line. This is Hampus Lindholm. Not a good pass there as he sends Beauchemin back to center.
Look at the pressure by the forwards, getting on the D of the Ducks all over the ice. The pressure on the puck for Pittsburgh.
Yep, they're playing their game right now. There's a shot pass to the corner. Not sure what Raquel was doing there. And now center ice, Hornquist moves it ahead of Crosby. He's able to find Spaulding, and his shot is blocked. Spaulding trying to get it back. It goes to the corner. Hornquist sent it around to the near corner. Hornquist got his arm tied up there after he moved that puck along the wall. Somebody hit him, and he kind of shook his right arm. Now the puck is dumped in by Sekac. Paul Martin back to get it. Look at him shield the forechecker Cogliano. And Martin able to work it to the line, but no further. It stayed back in the Penguin zone, and Kunitz has to go back to get it. Around for Letang, and up to the blue line into center ice. And Dupre has it there for Anaheim. And he lifts it into the Penguin zone just wide of the net from the red line. No icing on the play. Greiss raised his glove as if he thought it was going to be. And now the puck to center and a left wing pass to Malkin. He's open against Fowler. Malkin cuts in, drops it off for Letang. Boy, it looked like he could have driven to the net there, but he cut into the middle instead. And now Dupre has broken his stick, and a penalty coming up here. So was his stick slashed, or did he just break it?
No, I think it was slashed again. We'll see when we get back. Take a look. Well, Malkin was in behind the cage. Simone Dupre came down hard on Malkin's stick, broke his own stick. It's a Dupre slash. That's going to get him 2 minutes in the box. Not the second period Dupre's been looking for. He's a -2, and he's in the box now. And that power play, Rick Tocchet. And talking to Jacques Martin as well. Out here, who does some pre-scouting with the Penguins, said, hey, we got to shoot the puck on this power play. I said, yep, shot first mentality. We got to look for it right here.
They didn't have one on their first power play. No shots. They're 0 for 1. UPMC Sports Medicine power play. Malkin with it. Kunitz is in front of the net. Pouliot to Letang. Pass not there. It was in his skates. Moves it back out to Pouliot. Back to Letang. The Penguins moving bodies around. Down low. Kunitz trying to move it in front. It goes off the stick of Anderson. And the Ducks got to be careful here. As I said, the Ducks with 9 shorthanded goals to lead the league. This is the perfect example of when the momentum can switch. You know, the Penguins would like to at least keep the momentum going with this power play, even if they don't score.
Yeah, and you know what? You got 2 defensemen on the ice, Staggy, and that's smart coaching there for Pittsburgh. They go with the 2 defense, not having Malkin on the point, realizing the number you just mentioned.
Now Kunitz after the puck on the near wall. And so is Pouliot. Letang's at the point. Cogliano with blinding speed. And the perfect guy to have killing penalties with that speed that he has. One of the fastest guys in hockey. Here's Malkin with it now at center. Moves it left wing to Kunitz. Drops it off now. Pouliot from Malkin. Gino protects the puck. Beauchemin on him. Kunitz got there and just whipped it from the backhand right back out to Pouliot and now to Letang. Letang works it down low to Crosby. Back up top to Pouliot. And across now to Malkin. He was passing that puck and not shooting. Pouliot doesn't shoot it again. Holds it, works it along for Crosby. Now for Malkin, doesn't connect. Just too many passes for the Penguins. Not shooting. You talk about it. They're not doing it. Here's Pouliot.
I tell you, it's so much easier from where we're sitting. But you have to shake up that penalty killing unit. You got to shoot it. Look for the rebounds. Hornquist is in front of the net. He's the best in the business at it. Give him a shot.
Now it's Paul Martin.
And Kunitz is right there too.
That's right. He's not too bad in front of the net, is he?
No, he's real good.
Cole's on the power play now. Second unit on. Only 7 seconds to go on the Dupre penalty. Sutter to the puck. Sutter drops it off. Perron takes it. And David Perron works it along for Paul Martin. Martin to Cole. The drive. Score! Deflected in by number 72. Patrick Hornquist is a Duck killer. He is unbelievable. That's his 10th career goal in 21 games against the Ducks.
Yeah, it may not go down as a power play goal. Nope. But give him a chance. There is Sutter driving down deep. Dishing it off to Perron. Give 72 a chance. Right there for the redirect behind Anderson. on a good, hard, low shot. 72 gets a piece of that up and over the big netminder, and the Penguins are up 3-0 in Anaheim.
And by the way, Hornqvist now has 21 goals in 51 games this year. James Neal, for the record, has 21 goals in 60 games. Just in case you're keeping tabs on the trade. And Patrick Hornqvist has scored most of them from right there, which is exactly why they got him. And that's a kind of stuff you're going to need in the playoffs. And Hornqvist is a master around the goal. And it's just amazing the number that he has put up against the Ducks in his career. I remember them telling us that at the beginning of the season. The Ducks announcers, they said, Hornqvist kills us.
Give him a shot again here tonight. Give him a shot. Put it down there around the net. You know he's going to do something.
33 seconds to go in the period. The Penguins penalty killing has done the job here tonight, killing 3 Ducks power plays. The power play they just had wasn't so hot, but they were able to get the goal after the power play had expired. Beauchemin's shot is absorbed by Thomas Greiss, and with 21.5 seconds to go in the period, a face-off coming up. Only 15 shots for both clubs. Penguins have 3 goals on 15 shots against Frederik Andersen.
Yeah, the 49 in the opening game. 49 or 39, excuse me, against Gibson. So I think Simon Dupre just came out of the penalty box. It was his minor. If he just got out there, Staggy was still on the ice, he picked up a sweet -3 in the second period.
And we're talking about the trade, Neal for Hornqvist. Don't forget Spalling. He also has 9 goals. Pretty good deal for Jim Rutherford, who he made a lot of deals. He really changed the face of this team. 11 new faces from last year. Right up to the deadline, he was wheeling and dealing. And he is here on this trip with the Penguins, watching the game tonight. Icing call against the Ducks.
3.8. Probably leave the netminder Greiss in here. Might be just enough time for the Ducks to win it and get it all the way down the ice. But what a second period for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They've gone up by 3. You know the Ducks have that strong record with 10 wins while trailing after 2 periods, but this is a tall order against a Penguin team that's really come back with a lot of emotion after really a subpar performance, I thought, in Colorado.
And something about the Penguins, they have those bad games and they bounce back with really good ones. They really can self-monitor their play. There's a hard shot by Malkin right before the horn, stopped by Andersen. And that's the 16th, 17th shot on goal for the Penguins. So they have 12 in the period for a total of 17. Now they put it back to 16. So it's 11 for a total of 16. And the Ducks with 7 shots for a total of 15 through 2 periods of play. Let's go to Paul and Jay. And now to Sidney Crosby. Crosby trying to stick handle in. Taken by Perrin in front of Crosby. And the save made by Andersen. I think he just got a piece of that.
3 good stick plays.
Como's shot. That's in. It's a goal. Como has scored. In and out in a hurry. The referee pointed to it right away. Here's Hornqvist right there. Shooting. He scores! Patrick Hornqvist sneaks one in. Works it along for Paul Martin. Martin to Cole. The drive. Score! Deflected in by number 72. Well, Patrick Hornqvist doing his thing again, Bob, and Simon Dupre, pick your whichever one you want to use. Not having a great night here for the Ducks.
Well, no, you know, Hornqvist scored from behind the net, and then Dupre took a penalty and came out onto the ice. The Penguins scored right as that penalty expired, so he gets the minuses, and well, they take it and they give it away for Mr. Dupre, and they're going to have a big period, the Ducks. The first 5 minutes, very important here to start this third period of play. Looking down just to make sure the same netminder, Andersen, is in the cage, and he is.
Kind of a rite of passage, I think, sometimes for a player to be traded. It makes them grow up very quickly, and you could see the emotion. And you know, Ben Lovejoy was traded by the Penguins, and of course he says he really grew into a better player and more mature person as a result of having been traded. It happens to a lot of guys. And just to set the record straight on the first name of Dupre, in French his name is pronounced Simon, but the N is silent. But most people say Simone, which is actually a woman's name in French. So it frustrated him when he'd hear everybody calling him Simone, because he's thinking to himself, that's a girl's name in French Canadian and French language. So he said, I'd rather be called Simon, and that's why we changed it. So we were basically honoring his request when we changed it to Simon. But now that he's a Duck, I don't have to worry about it as much anymore. Maybe only times when we play Anaheim, that's it. A couple times a year. There's an icing call against the Penguins early in the third period, 3-0 Pittsburgh. Como has scored, and 2 by Hornqvist.
That second one by Hornqvist, I'll tell you, as he had to stick to the right side of his body facing the point, he had to get around a defender and then redirect it. It was just an incredible redirection by Hornqvist, and boy, he's just so good at that in front of the net. Look out.
Close call there as Perry was waving at the puck. He missed it. And now Pouliot skates to center and ends up going up into the Duck zone. Back to get a Clayton Stoner, the former Minnesota Wild player. They won again tonight, beating Carolina 3-1. The Wild are on fire under Mike Yeo. And there's a shot by Bo Bennett off a stick and wide. And taken now by Corey Perry. Out in center now for Getzlaf. He swings around Martin, but Letang comes over to cover up for his partner. And now Martin shielding the forechecker Sakat so that Letang can headman the puck. And it goes up into the Duck zone on that fresh ice, and it's an icing call against the Penguins. And the Ducks have a 15-point lead in their division. That's the biggest lead by far for any divisional leader in the NHL. If you look and see the Los Angeles Kings, they're hovering around there right behind the Winnipeg Jets, who are idle tonight. Minnesota and Calgary both winning, and we will play the Kings tomorrow night in a very big game for them. Every game is huge as they're trying to get back into the playoff picture.
Big win over the Canadiens last night for the Kings.
And they have the rest of the league right where they want them, don't they? That's kind of the way they do it.
Oh, look at that play off the net, and Crosby, he's seen that fish before. He made a nice play on Kessler defensively behind the cage.
Now it's Dupre back for the puck, over skating. And the forecheck of Bo Bennett got in around him. And now the puck back out to center ice, and it'll be dumped in by the Ducks. Silverberg to the side of the net. Rice just shovels it over to the far wall. Kessler gets there first. And now Silverberg looks for it, but the Penguins take it away. And skating to center ice now for the Penguins is Blake Como to Evgeny Malkin. They're poked away from him by Beauchemin out to center. You know who's on hand tonight is Randy Carlyle, who won the Cup as the head coach of the Ducks in 2007. He lives in San Diego and made the trip up to look at the game. He told me between periods he wants to coach. Here's Kunitz behind the net. Kunitz centers down to Malkin, a shot, and it goes in. It's a goal. It had enough mustard on it to find its way. You could read the label on it as it went over the goal line. And the Penguins lead 4-0. Malkin has his 28th goal of the season.
Yeah, you might say it had enough Russian on it to get across that goal line.
Well, Russian
Malkin. Yeah, not English, Russian. And there was a forecheck. There they are, second man on the puck, turning it over. Look at Malkin in the high slot, the F3 forward, slashing down to get involved. And there he is gliding backwards, changing the angle, and all that puck is across the goal line. It's 4-0 Pittsburgh. Wow.
And Gino is on a roll. He has 7 goals in his last 7 games.
I like the forecheck of the Pittsburgh Penguins in this hockey game. They've been aggressive on the puck. They've turned over some pucks. Look out. Whoa! How'd that stay out? Grace with a horseshoe.
Now the puck is dumped in deep by Emerson Edom. Sent up the wall by Lovejoy. Puck up for grabs here. Pinballing around and back to the front of the net. Poked away by Grace again. Emerson Edom gets to it. And now you see the Ducks with a little more energy, almost a feeling of urgency coming from them at the moment. And you have to wonder, I'm sure, if you're a Ducks fan, where it was before. And now the Penguins are battling to try to stem that tide as the Ducks are coming on strong. Another centering pass ricochets right on the net. And Grace makes a save. Another opportunity on the doorstep for Raquel. And that one was blocked and went wide. And now the Ducks keep it in again. It's Rickard Raquel again working it down to the corner. Centering pass by Edom is broken up. And they don't get out. The Penguins can't get out of the zone. Edom again centers, and that one off a skate. Adams races over trying to get the puck out. And the Penguins again hand it right back to the Ducks.
Want to ice it here and take your time out.
They're really really reeling right now, the Penguins are. A turning shot by Palmieri. He's on the ice. They were able to make a change, and now Lapierre will ice it, but all the guys that are out there have to stay out here.
Yeah, they're going to call a timeout here. You only get one. You're up 4-0. What are you saving it for? These guys can't move. Thomas Greiss. You talk about a long shot, went over his shoulder. He was able to reach back for it. I thought it was going in for sure. Somehow the back right elbow knocks it out of harm's way. Look at this. It's going in, and then he just gets it with the tricep. Knows it's creeping over his backside, and Pittsburgh called the timeout. Give these guys a break. That was quite a shift. And their fourth line, and Pittsburgh was stuck in their end for well over a minute. Gary Agnew saying, hey, this is what we're looking for. Agnew on the right. Face off to the right of Greiss, who somehow kept that puck out. It was pinballing all over the place.
It was a good shift for the third line of the Ducks there. A good response shift after the goal by Malkin. You mentioned it. They are 10-17 when trailing after 2. The Penguins are 0-11-4 when they trail after 2, just to give you an idea. They've only trailed 15 times, but they've yet to win a game in that situation. The Ducks have won 10 when they've been behind going to the third period. So fortunately, the Penguins got that next goal from Malkin.
You go back to 05-06 for the Penguins. They were 0-41-10 when trailing after 2 periods of play.
Face off after the Pittsburgh timeout to the right of Greiss. And Lapierre still on the ice, of course. And he lost the draw. And here they go again. Getzlaf, though, it had gone off his stick, and Lapierre clears it again. And this time it goes on net, so there's no icing.
And they get the change.
Now the Ducks dump it into the corner. Corey Perry in after it. Paul Martin there, so is Sutter. Now Getzlaf centers. Reaching back is Cam Fowler to dump it in behind the goal. Perry to Getzlaf. Shoots it, and it goes right through the paint. And then off the wall, and Fowler will chase it down. Paired up with Simon Despres. And up the right wing now to Getzlaf. And over to Sekach into the Penguin zone. Now it's Getzlaf with it. Bouncing puck. The Penguins force it back to center. And taken now by Sutter. Despres tried to dump it in. Sutter wouldn't let him do that. Now Despres sends it back into his own zone and goes to the bench. And Beauchemin moves it up to center. Down the wing for the Ducks goes Fleischmann to the corner along with Kessler. Letang took Kessler out so Scuderi could work the puck up the wall. Stays in the Penguin zone though, but Kessler pokes it to center ice and handled there now by Hampus Lindholm. Lindholm dumps it to the right wing corner, and that's icing. That's not a good play there by Lindholm. Icing against the Ducks.
Well, Evgeny Malkin now on a 7-game point streak with a goal and assist. Look at his numbers. 699 career points for 71 of Evgeny Malkin.
And those 2 points tie him with Alexander Ovechkin for the league lead. Ovi has 67 coming in 65 games. Now Malkin's got 67 in 59 games. He's averaging more points than anybody in the league. And if he keeps this pace up, he'll get over 90 points to win the scoring title.
Unless somebody has another good pace coming here in.
Exactly. To perhaps win the scoring title, is the way I should have said it. There's Perron dumping it in. Now the long lead pass. And handled now by Como. Malkin came in to help out. Malkin's got it again. Sends it ahead now to Kunitz. Kunitz skates into the middle, drives it long to the glove of Anderson.
Chris Kunitz, what a trade that was for the Pittsburgh Penguins back February 26, 2009. Acquiring him. Whitney pulling the other way. Eric Tangradi as well in that trade. And Chris Kunitz, we showed you last night how consistent he has been as a Pittsburgh Penguin in his 400th game as a Penguin.
From the draw, taken now by Stoner. He'll work it in behind from Manson. By the way, you mentioned Kunitz's consistency. Listen to the goal totals, Bob. 19, 25, 21, 23, 26. And he had 22 in only 48 games of the lockout year. Follow that up with that 35-goal season last year. So his last 2 years, he's really exploded as a goal scorer in the league. But if you look at his career at large, you would have to say that he's pretty much right where he normally is. And don't forget, scoring's down around the league in general, so most guys are going to be down a bit. There's a chance now for Nate Thompson. His shot is blocked. And Sutter comes back to center ice, and he'll dump it softly towards the Anaheim goal. Now a bump by Winnick. Here's Sutter on the wall on his backhand. Back to the forehand as he dumps it in deep. Winnick is there. Now one of the Penguins is tripped behind the goal. That was Bo Bennett. No penalty on the play.
I think he stepped on a stick there.
And now Raquel takes off. And these guys have been the best line for the Ducks in the third period. Emerson Edom, Ricard Raquel, and Kyle Palmieri now playing on this line. Now taken by Letang. It had been Sakach on this line on the left wing, but they're using Palmieri there now. And now Palmieri takes the pass on the right wing. He normally plays left wing. There's a long shot, and the save made by Greiss. He had been the left winger with Perry and Getzlaf to start the hockey game. Now Fowler dumps the puck in behind the goal, and it's stopped there by Greiss for Rob Scuderi.
Crosby shaking his hand there. He collided with somebody up around the Penguins' blue line.
Icing again against the Penguins, unless Perron wins the race, and he did win the race. They gave it to him, but the puck comes right back out to neutral ice where Getzlaf headmans the puck. Drop pass, Perry shooting. Oh, he gunned that one up and over the glass into the netting. And we'll take a break.
Penguins have 4 on the board. Malkin on a mission. Points in 7 straight.
4-0 good guys here in the third period in Southern California. You know, Bo Bennett is playing at the Honda Center for the first time as a professional. Of course, his hockey career began on rollerblades, which included a stop here in Anaheim with the Bulldogs at the age of 10. In addition to Bo, Rocco Grimaldi of the Florida Panthers also played for that same program a few years ago, guys.
Bo Bennett says that he still has tendencies as a skater on ice skates to kind of drift to his right when he's moving along the way he would on his rollerblades. He said when he sees video of himself, it reminds him of some of the same kind of motion that he had as a rollerblader. And rollerblades very popular here in California. I mentioned it earlier. Luc Robitaille had a lot to do with that. The star of the Kings, who played a season with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he will be honored tomorrow night in Los Angeles. Now, one of the I think he's vice president or maybe president of the Kings. I'm not sure of his title. We'll find out tomorrow. Here's Como with it now. He lost control. It's going to be cleared by Paul Martin back to center. Now grabbed by Malkin. Malkin cutting inside on Stoner. Looking back. Malkin moves it across now to Como. And Blake Como distributes it behind the net to Kunitz. Right back to the corner. Como crashing in, but the Ducks are able to get to center. Stoner works it up ahead now. Carried in by Corey Perry. Looking for Sakach cutting in. Bruce Boudreau has mixed his lines up a little bit here. Now the puck is dumped in by Como to the Ducks zone.
And the Penguins doing what you have to do when you win. Como didn't force a pass up high, went down below the net. When the Penguins had a face-off in their own zone, Sutter was on the ice taking the draw. They had 2 centermen, and then Sutter came off the ice for the Malkin line. So these are things you do when you're up, the little things that you don't forget about, the details of the game. You don't need any more goals.
Penguins playing an excellent road game here tonight in Anaheim. Nick Spaulding after the puck. Hit by Dupre and knocked down before he ever touched the puck. Silverberg drops it to Fleischmann. He shoots and he scores. I told you he was going to get one. That's number 11 against the Penguins in his career. Fleischmann off the tip of the glove of Greiss makes it 4-1.
Must have been some butter in that glove of Greiss.
Or margarine, I think it was.
Well, Fleischmann did it again. He's got 11 and 26, and we saw earlier in this period Greiss have trouble with that long shot, and it went up over his shoulder. This one he tried to reach with the glove, and it just slipped in behind him, did it not? Nice play there by Silverberg as he dropped that puck, and then he went in there and interfered, backed up the defense of the Penguins. Lovejoy, and that puck bounces off kind of the webbing, the end of the glove of Greiss. There goes the shutout. It's 4-1.
Well, that'll be disappointing to Grice. I know he's trying to get a shutout. He cracked a joke after the last game where he saw a couple of goals scored in the third period when he was rolling along. Yeah, saw a shutout spoiled. I think he said, I'm a 2-period goalie. He was really not happy with himself. But he's been solid for the Penguins. He's 4-1-2 in his last 7 starts. Head to Florida for our first televised Pirates spring training game of the year as the Pirates take on the Orioles. You can catch it all from Bradenton Sunday, March 15th, starting at 12:30. Pirates pregame begins it all, presented by WB Mason on Root Sports.
Just don't want to give this Duck team any life, and you want to shut them down. That next shift after a goal goes in is very important.
Shot wide by Lindholm, puck behind the goal. Ducks coming on now. Another centering pass, barging to the net right on the doorstep there.
Big pad save.
And Grice made the save with a right pad. Now the Penguins go the other way. And a big hit on the near wall by Beauchemin. And now Letang shoots it at a save made by Anderson. Hornquist goes over. Takes a hit to make a play. Penalty coming up against the Ducks. Letang holds it in. Grice went to the bench. Extra attacker on Sid trying to knock the puck down with his hand again. And he's shaking that left hand one more time as his finger got hit by the puck.
Yeah. Right off the end of the fingers there. Penguins will be on the power play. They're up 4-1 in this one. Now David Perron, so good. He's feeling the stick on his body. He's got the free hand. He's going to keep his feet moving and draw that penalty. Working hard in the corner. There's Hornquist over there to help out the Penguins on the power play. Officially don't have a power play marker yet, although they did score after Simon Dupré got out of the penalty box in the second.
And the Penguins are 0 for 2. They only had 1 shot on their previous 2 power plays. The last one they really passed up any opportunities to shoot. The UPMC Sports Medicine power play starts here with Crosby on the face-off against Kessler to the left of Anderson. And from the face-off, the puck is cleared by Fowler all the way down.
Penguins go with 2 defensemen, as they have been here tonight, with Pouliot and Letang on that power play. Malkin and Crosby up front with Hornquist.
2 defensemen with a lot of offensive ability. Here's Letang dumping into the corner. Stoner goes back to get it, lifts it up off the glass, takes a hop out to center ice, and Malkin fakes like he's going to drive it back in with Kessler pressuring. He moves it over to Letang. Perfect pass to Pouliot. And he comes in with his head up. Derek Pouliot controls the puck ahead to Malkin. Malkin throws it to the front of the net. It goes right through to Crosby. Back out to Letang. And over to Sid. A broken stick on the ice. Hornquist is going to the bench for a new one. As Pouliot handles the puck. Hornquist coming back into the play now, but Pouliot turns it down low, where it's cleared by Stoner back into the Penguin zone.
Yeah, that was a smart play by the Ducks, realizing that Hornquist had to go to the bench, so you pressure the man with a puck. It's a 4-on-4, right? So good job by the Ducks. 1 minute left on this power play.
Paul Martin's on the power play now for the Penguins. He drives it in. Kunitz out here as well, along with Crosby and Malkin. And now a lead pass. Getzlaf was behind the play. He's going to go get the puck. Cogliano's out here too. Getzlaf looks back. He has his man Fowler. Big save by Grayson Fowler. Almost a shorthanded goal for the Ducks.
Well, you know, Getzlaf took off. Set play. We're going to ice it down. It doesn't matter. We get there first. There's no icing anyway. And Getzlaf setting up Fowler coming late.
That's a smart play. Here's Kunitz now. With Sutter on his right. Kunitz through a Perron, and his centering pass was blocked by Dupré, who gets back, but he can't control the puck. Kunitz took it away. Back up top, he goes to Cole. To Kunitz. Sutter's in the slot. Kunitz's blast is stopped by Anderson. And then Fowler bumps Sutter away from the puck. And the Ducks are able to clear it. 10 seconds to go on the penalty to Hampus Lindholm.
And in that situation, Fowler, he's not supposed to beat the Penguins forwards back in that play. You got to put your head down and get back on that power play. That could have changed the game right around there.
1 shot for the Penguins on the power play and 1 great chance for the Ducks. Here's Corey Perry down the wing. Shooting it. Grice the save. Scuderi swept it behind the net. Now to the near corner where it's lifted by Winnick to the line. No further, but then Sutter able to poke it back out to neutral ice. Stoner to Beauchemin. Now Raquel with it. He hit Lapierre with it, and now Winnick turns it off the glass back to center. Penguins trying to get a break here. Spaulding sent it ahead. Lapierre came over. And it goes in behind the net where Raquel handles it now for the Ducks.
Lapierre's been good in this hockey game, Staggy. His pace is a little better, and he's finishing off every hit.
Here's Raquel into the zone. He leaves it now for Emerson Edom. His shot off the leg. Back into the corner. 7 minutes to go in the third period. The Penguins up 4-1. The Ducks have shown a little resilience here in the third. There's Raquel coming in front. Centered it. A quick shot. They score. Corey Perry gets another one for Anaheim against the Penguins to make it 4-2.
Now hang on to your hats. Good work in the corner by the Ducks. And the pass was not intended for Perry, and they get a fortuitous bounce. As they come out of the corner, try to go back to the D, it goes after Hornquist. Goes off his skate. Down to one knee goes Perry, elevates the puck. And he's got 6 in his last 3 against the Penguins, and 6:50, maybe 51 or 2 left on the clock, as they're going to have to drop it again. 2 more seconds will be added, and Penguins will have to stick to the basics, get pucks deep and get to work here, because the Ducks are coming.
Paul Martin on his horse trying to get it out. Maroon kept it in. Now it is Martin moving it ahead. Hornquist trying to get a stick on it. Fowler banks it off the boards to Maroon. Martin takes him. Crosby went down on one knee. Puck stays in. The Price with a blast with the save made. Getzlaf was right there looking for the rebound. Price flopping to stop it. On the near side is Dupre again turning. Snaps it right on the tape for Fowler. A shot deflected by Hornquist over the goal. Getzlaf with it again. It's all Ducks right now. They are really coming here. And all they needed was a goal to get some life. And there's a hit by Fowler. Where have they been all night? I mean, that's what makes you wonder, right? If you're a Ducks fan, they're thinking, why does it take them so long to start playing like this?
And they want to get on quick. They want to change quick and get the face-off. Penguins have used their timeout off this icing. And our Subway sounds of the game. Adams on Clayton Stoner with a big hit. And now a big face-off. A tired Penguins bunch. Fresh Ducks.
Perron trying to get it out.
Penguins get that change. Everybody but Hornquist is going to the bench now.
Corey Perry scoring from Raquel and Edom. And I told you Boudreau had mixed his lines up. And he was able to get that second goal. And now the Penguins force the puck back out to center. 5:39 to go. The goal by Fleischmann, assisted by Silverberg. Malkin's goal, his 28th, assisted by Kunitz and Como. Here in the third period. Now barging in was Kessler. He's upended. No penalty on the play. Crowd wants one. And the Penguins storm back. And it's Cole skating well to center ice. Ian Cole with a shot. Clubbed down by Anderson. He just fought it off. And the Penguins back up now. They're changing too. As the Ducks coolly wait for reinforcements. And that's pass by Beauchemin intended for Kessler. Didn't go on the tape. And as a result, we get a whistle and offside call. And the Ducks argue
shouldn't have been.
They don't like that call at all.
It was tipped by the Penguins. No, not touched by the Ducks. Well, Anaheim looked like duck soup, but they've got back into this thing, as Kevin Stevens would say, and they're fighting a battle right now. A lot of conversation going on. Look at Rick talking, always communicating in the morning. Skatey's out there early with players, working on stuff on the power play here late, talking about, you know, let's keep some pressure on the D. Let's not let Anaheim just drive it down our throats here. You got to stay on them.
And the Ducks come out to center ice and then slip around Paul Martin down the wing. It is Edom. He's got good speed. He's a big guy, Emerson Edom. Now Beauchemin over to Lindholm, down into the corner for Raquel to Edom. Good stick there to Tang. Yeah. And Corey Perry playing with Edom and Raquel now. He scored that goal with these guys. Now Raquel looks for Edom. It goes right by him. Perry after it again. Corey Perry, big power forward.
Look at that play by Letang, using his skating, his lower body strength, seals the man off. It's going to be another ice against Penguins, but you'll take these ices rather than turnovers in your own zone right now. And the Penguins will try to make sure that when they can get 2 centers, they can now. Watch Letang. Look at sealing the man off, separating him from the puck, and the Penguins getting it down. So good stuff.
This happens a lot when you have a lead in a third period. The Ducks out shooting the Penguins 11-4 coming on. And you saw the Penguins do it to the Avs the other night. Same thing. It happens a lot in the game. It's a tough thing, isn't it, Bob, to just be able to keep that pressure on when you've got a lead in the third period and prevent that from happening. We get another icing call. It's just human nature, I guess, to protect, and you end up being on your heels.
Exactly. And you mentioned the line switches as well here, Staggy. They've invigorated this hockey team. Getzlaf not out there with Perry right now.
No, he's got Palmieri on his right. And Sakach on his left. I give Boudreau credit for doing that. Sometimes coaches stick with their lines too much. And you'd like to see him juggle them a little bit. Here's a shot by Dupre off the end boards. It comes out to Adams, and he didn't get it out. Dupre back to the net. That just went off the glove of Greiss.
Oh, boy.
That almost went in.
I don't know if he saw it or not. Did it tick off his glove?
I think it did. I really do. Here's Dupre with it again. He moves it across. Fowler to Getzlaf. And Getzlaf, he's a horse. They're going to move it along now for Sakach. Adams came over and went off his stick and up into the stands over there on the far side. 3:32 to go in the third period.
Penguins are holding on. They are holding on right now. They're up 4-0. There's a turnover. There's the shot to the net. It just went off Sutter's knee and by that glove hand.
There it was. I knew it hit something.
Boy. Boudreau, not a lot of emotion. Hands in the pocket most of the time now.
A face-off win for the Ducks. Hampus Lindholm with a shot. Deflected off a stick right to Kessler, and his backhand shot is stopped.
That was a big save there by Greiss. He's standing. He's holding it.
Now it's Hornquist with it, and he moves it along. And the Penguins have talked a lot during this stretch where they've won games about wanting to be better at closing games out. But obviously it's a lot easier said than done. There's another team on the ice.
Whoa,
there's an icing call.
And that's an arbitrary call, and Kessler had a head of steam, and he did not get the icing call his way. Look at that easy face-off win. Kessler going to the forehand, glide to the middle of the ice, and watch the save by Greiss on the backhand off Kessler. Really good stop.
Well, it's been that close to being, I mean, they've had several opportunities to tie this game up.
Greiss should be happy with the way he's bounced back here. I know 2 have gone by him, but he's made some big saves here as well.
Only 4 shots for the Penguins here in the third period, and the Ducks keep adding to the total. 27-20 now. Another lead pass. Silverberg slaps it, and a save by Greiss, and he was on his angle there. A good save by Greiss there.
Look how far he came out to cut that angle down as well as it came out of the corner. Greiss can't play it in that no play zone. And he knows there's no other option but a shot here. And he's perfect. And there's no possible way that puck is going in. Look at that. Way out. Perfect angle. And he's on the rebound. When did the Ducks pull the net, Minder? 2:56 left, down by 2.
Face off again. Crosby knocked it out of midair. Hornquist able to bank it ahead. Perron skating over against Dupre. So is Hornquist. He dumps it in, but Perron was offside. So now Dupre takes off with it for the Ducks. And he will dump it in and get in after it himself. Letang back to play the puck. Dupre gives him a little bump with a hip. Puck doesn't leave the zone. But now David Perron with a chance. And he's able to flick it out and hit Hornquist, who was headed to the bench. Or maybe somebody else on the bench. Either way, the whistle blows, and they're going to bring it back into the Penguin zone.
Yeah, it'll be right down to that face-off circle. Our McDonald's player of the game, Patrick Hornquist, with a pair of goals here tonight. Never had a 3-goal game, and that net is empty right now as Anderson goes to the bench. So Hornquist now at 22 points in 21 career games against the Ducks.
Kessler on the draw, won it cleanly. Getzlaf's shot floats over the head of Greiss up into the netting off a stick.
And it doesn't matter what it goes off or who it goes off. Face-offs are now all inside. They stay inside the zone. So an opportunity here. And another face-off. Kessler took 31 face-offs in the game, last game for his hockey team against Montreal. And he's in there again.
Another face-off. This one Crosby got it to Letang, but it's taken away from him by Perry. Loose in front. Kessler there. Trying to get it to Getzlaf, and he fanned on the shot. Winnick clears it out to center. Crosby racing for the puck with the empty net, and he can't get there. Fowler hit him from behind. Will be a penalty. And it's going to be a hooking call. Crosby wants a goal.
Should be an automatic goal, isn't it? Crosby an opportunity to put it in the empty net, penalized. Apparently not, because he didn't have the puck at any point.
That's true. He was racing for it. Yeah. You're right.
Getting into that area. I don't know, Stegan. I don't know. Arbitrary call as well.
Well, and the Penguins do have the extra man now for the remainder of the hockey game, or at least a good portion of it. 2:13 remaining on the clock. And Fowler hooking Sidney Crosby as he went to that puck, trying to get to it to put it in the empty net and seal the deal. Now it's Hampus Lindholm. And I'll tell you,
there they go again.
There's Letang with it now. Anderson's in the net. And what is it? They have some nice set plays with those guys getting behind the defense. Shot by Crosby wide.
Yeah, like I'm going to take off, just shoot it down there, and that's really what the set play is.
It's smart. I mean, you don't get icing because you're shorthanded. So I don't see other teams doing that. It makes sense.
It does make sense, and it forces the offensive team to play defense. It's good stuff. And
no wonder they have 9 shorthanded goals.
Exactly. That's why Crosby wasn't credited with a goal there today. He never did touch that puck. It was dumped into open ice by Winnick, and Crosby was penalized before he was even determined that he might not even reach that puck. So had he have chipped it, gone by, and obviously been in the clear and was able to get that puck, he would have been awarded a goal there with the empty net and the penalty. But now we're trying to decide, I believe, where this face-off is going to be.
Sid's still discussing it with Patrick Hornquist.
Anderson's back in the net. 1:42 left on the clock. The Ducks might decide to make it 5-on-5 here and get him out at some point.
Penguins a minute 37 seconds away from their 4th straight win over the Ducks. This is a team that leads the entire league in points with 91 coming in. Cogliano carries the center ice. Letang steps up on him. Paul Martin over to the puck. Martin sent it up the wall. Past Como. Taken by Edom. Cogliano goes to the front of the net, and a shot off a stick into the netting. With a minute 11 remaining.
Do you leave the goalie in? Do you take him out? You got an offensive zone face-off here right now. You're down by 2, and I guess you're just going to, well, here he comes. I was going to say Bruce Boudreau's going to leave him in there and wave the white flag, but instead, no, he's bringing him out. Trying to win a hockey game, little 5-on-5 here.
The Ducks made a lot of trades, and they've got a couple of really good players waiting in the wings. We'll see if they can turn what has been a great regular season into a great playoff run. Shot from the point, blocked by Hornquist, and up into the Anaheim zone. Beauchemin goes back. Malkin's on him. Malkin took it away. Now it's taken by Silverberg into the final minute of the hockey game. 44 seconds to go on the penalty to Fowler. An offside is called on the Ducks as they enter the Penguin zone. And a lot of folks have left the building on their way out to the highway here, where we'll no doubt be seeing a lot of traffic tonight here in Southern California. An absolutely perfect day weather-wise here in Anaheim. And of course, Mike Johnston will be returning to Los Angeles tomorrow night, where he coached with Mark Crawford with the Kings several years ago. From the draw, Pouliot heading out of Malkin with the empty net. Malkin shoots it that way, but it's off a stick. 45 seconds ago. Hornquist has never had a hat trick. He's on the ice. Beauchemin with it. And Beauchemin takes it and just hangs on to it. Hands it off to Silverberg. 34 seconds to go in the hockey game. Shot down low, just wide of the net by Getzlaf. Now Perry takes it on the wall. Back to the front of the net. Greiss made the save, and he's able to freeze.
They're unbelievable. Lovejoy in there, boxing out Kessler. You just get pucks to the goaltender's feet. Greiss was able to somehow smother that puck. Crosby's still arguing why he hasn't got awarded that goal yet. There's Lovejoy defending in front of Thomas Greiss with Kessler banging away.
Is that all forwards on the ice? I believe it is for the Ducks. Silverberg's out here with Getzlaf, Perry,
Boschman's out there up
Kessler.
front.
You know, they got Boschman up front. He's the only defenseman for the Ducks.
And they're going to call their timeout, the Ducks, with 30 seconds left on the clock. As we take a look at the Eastern Conference standings here. Pittsburgh at 81.
Trying to keep pace with those Rangers and Islanders.
Detroit losing here tonight. Ottawa, wow, Staggy. What a turnaround for that hockey club. They bounced back. They were down 2-0 against the Sabres and won 3-2 again tonight. And they came through the West and swept last week. Hammond, the netminder.
Crazy. When we saw them when we were up in Ottawa, I remember they did a really good job against the Penguins that night. They beat the Penguins in Ottawa. Exploded for a bunch of goals in the third period of that game. Here's the face-off coming up to the left of Grace. Trying to get the job done here. Finish the deal and move on to Los Angeles, where Fleury will play tomorrow night against the Kings. They'll be rested and waiting for the Penguins to arrive. Here's Scuderi behind the net for Letang. Up the wall now for Sutter. And Sutter just lifts it out to center ice. And this is Crosby with the empty
There's
net.
the penalty.
Coming to the goal, and he scores.
And there was another penalty being called, and Crosby made sure this time, I'm putting this one in the net. I'm not taking any chances. He doesn't get many empty netters, Staggy, in his career. But he gets one here as the Penguins win the faceoff. Good board support. Look at Crosby, knock that out of the air to spin around. Silverberg, that was special stuff by Crosby. Look at this, whacks it out of the air, spins around. There's the penalty. It's a goal already, folks, before he put it in. So good stuff by the Penguins, who put a 5 spot up, 6 against the Ducks in the opener, 5 tonight in 2 hockey games.
And Crosby scoring his 21st goal of the season. 2 seconds to go. And the Penguins come into Anaheim and take 2 points from the Mighty Ducks. They're not called that anymore, but they are mighty, leading the league in points. But tonight it's the Penguins who outscore them 5-2 for a big road win.
Yeah, and Greiss gets the win. Now 5-1-2 in his last 8 starts is Thomas Greiss. Made a couple of big saves there after the Ducks cut the lead in half. And the Penguins move on for a big tilt tomorrow night against the Kings.
And they outshoot the Penguins 14-5 in the third period, making it more interesting, but the Penguins win it 5-2. Let's go back to Paul and Jay back at Pittsburgh.